don't feel like that sounds right.
It sounds a bit shit.
Can we scrap that? We'll edit that later.
Nah, scratch it out.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Deep Drop, a fishing podcast for those of you that haven't heard it before. We just talk about fishing, but it's not the same as everything else that you've heard out there in podcasts or radio land. We take a little bit of a different spin, a different twist on it, and that is we just talk about those conversations that you have while you're fishing, while you're on a road trip, while you're in the car driving from destination to destination. And they're not conversations that necessarily give you a definitive answer or land on anything firm. It's something that kind of just keeps opening cans of worms left, right, and centre. I'm Luke McCredden. You're Adam Ring. Take it away, mate. I want you to explain it better than I just have.
No, you nailed it, mate. It's exactly what it is. We love nothing more than answering a question with another question. We love nothing more than expanding on an idea. And what's more exciting than whatever answer we come up with? It's how inspired you feel to go and muck around with those scenarios out in the real world, which is unreal. Because being openly honest, some of the stuff we come up with probably wouldn't work in a million years. But I think every now and then we hit something and you go, why haven't I tried that?
Yeah.
It seems too good not to have been done or not to do.
But even probably wouldn't work. It's like, but it could.
But it could. And it's exactly right. So we throw out a heap of scenarios. We have a bit of fun along the way. We ask an absolute stack of questions to hopefully get people thinking and inspired all at the same time.
I love it. And we hear from you guys very often. And if you haven't yet jumped on Instagram and followed The Deep Drop, that's where we open up the conversation. We open up the dialogue ads, and that's where you can get in touch via message if you want to keep it low key and off the record, or just jump on any of the posts there and just give us your. Just don't hold back. We're a open book where you can just come and be yourself. No judgment. Trust us. After you've heard this for a little while, you'll realise there's no judgment.
There's no judgment.
But we get some awesome feedback ads, and during the week was just. Over the weekend, we just had some great stuff and I just wanted to touch on a couple of things while we're on it. We spoke about a few things last week, and we lent on the listeners because you guys know more than us, more often than not. We're talking about the bluefin tuna and the barrels, and if you bringing them back in.
Yes.
So we got some pretty consistent feedback that because what we're saying was bringing them in whole, so you haven't bled them, you haven't gutted them, gilled them, or anything like that.
Yep.
But then the meat's shit, so you can't really do much with it. But then if you do bring them in and you've looked after them to the max, you're actually losing weight because you know, so it's might not reach 100 kilos. A lot of the consistent feedback we got ads was what you remove looking after it is about 10% of the total weight of the fish.
Okay.
So if you do that and you weigh it in and it's sort of 91 kilos, then you pretty confidently say that you caught a 100 kilo fish.
Yeah.
So that's good. And we weren't far off it. We also weren't far off the mark.
I think you started with 90, and I think we kind of worked our way to 95.
Yeah. So thank you for everyone for giving us some of that info. That's perfect. That's exactly what we needed.
Okay, so all right, we've actually got a hard definitive answer here. So if you can bring in a bluefin tuna that's not bled, gilled, and gutted, which we would never ever recommend because you want to look after these fish for the table because they're A+++ quality.
Yeah.
But if you did bring one in, not looked after at all, and it's 100 kilos, it's a barrel. If it's anything less than 100 kilos, it's not a barrel. It's just a big bluefin. But if you bring one in cared for to the max, it comes in with no blood, no gills, no guts, and hits 90 kilos, it's 90 or more, it's officially a barrel, correct?
Yeah.
Well done, listeners.
This
is awesome.
Lock
that in. That's what it is. Lock it in.
Thanks and there were a few people that have sent that through, and the loose drag label has said He was one of the people that sent in that same sort of info and said, does that mean now I'm part of hashtag the Deep Drop Pro staff? Said, yes, you are. Welcome
yes,
aboard.
you are. Correct.
You're in. So, yeah, thank you very much. Little bit of extra. Oh, just shout out to Spud. Now, you might remember Spud who was
Spud.
putting together the
Oh,
platypus
the
swim
platypus
bait.
lure.
Now,
Yes.
haven't heard much on the platypus swim bait front from Spud. I reckon you need to just get cracking on that one, Spud, for us. But he did send through. He's repping Carpathon. He's repping Carpathon.
Yes.
So let's get at it. Great work, Spud. Catching some big fat carp. Magnificent. Loving what I'm seeing. We got called out on Instagram during the week.
We did.
Now, obviously, we spoke about we're going to do a trip shortly down in the western part of Victoria to fish some of the Crater Lakes ads.
Yep.
For the trout and brave the cold and the boring down rigging trolling. Andy Smith from Ebb Tide Tackle put a bit of a post up saying, well, if you're going to do that, come down and we'll take you on the beach ads. In particular, it was aimed at you. Yeah,
and listen, it was a comprehensive list of things to do from Andy. I'm not sure whether we're going down there for a day, a week, or a year, but
yeah, we're moving down there.
But it's going to happen, Andy. So officially from me, I haven't consulted Luke on this, but we're coming.
All right,
and let's keep in touch and let's see how much we can do in a day.
So there was trout. I think there was the mention of the Hopkins River, which is you and
closer to trout.
You and Andy fished about 5,000 years ago, I believe.
Yep.
Together, and obviously the surf. But then while we're at it, let's catch a barrel. Well,
yeah,
fucking hell,
what a weekend.
Yeah, it's massive. But then it got elevated from there by someone else who messaged through saying, take it one step further. Do trout and tuna in the same day.
Ooh, that's it.
And I love it. I love a challenge. You know,
that's an interesting daily double.
I'm up for it.
I'm up for it. I think it would be awesome.
What would you do first?
Trout, because I reckon you could knock it over.
Same.
I reckon you could knock it over pretty quick if you wanted to.
First light, I reckon you could. Yep.
Get a couple of trout, then straight over to the boat ramp.
What are you more? It depends which way you look at it too. Because what are you more confident in catching? Like obviously,
trout for me, 100%.
No, but I just mean in general. Like as in, and obviously it's a silly thing to say, but if there's tuna about off that west coast, you should be able to get them pretty comfortably. But do you sort of go, all right, it still might take half the day. So do we just go and get on the water first light? Put the lures in as soon as we can and just hopefully we come across them sooner rather than later. Because if it gets to, after lunch, you go, fuck. Yeah, and then you nail one, I reckon you could race in and fish the Arvo on a trout river and sort of be confident you'll pick one up as the sun's setting.
I think you've swayed me.
Yeah.
I think that'd have to be the plan, wouldn't it? You'd want to try and knock off
the thing that could be harder.
Or the most time consuming. Because even if the trout or the bluefin's not, I guess, necessarily harder depending on so many different factors, but it would be more time consuming. I reckon you'd go, even just to get out to what's
and we're not talking barrel, we're just talking tuna.
Just getting tuna.
I'd be putting the lures in the water in the fucking harbour. Just literally because if you pick one up in the first hour, you're it's laughing.
It's a piece of piss. You could catch one, go get a trout, relaunch the boat, get another bluefin, go back and get another trout. Like you could just completely take the piss out of the challenge.
Fuck. But yeah. Or you going, how good's this? I'm home and hose. We're back at the ramp by 7 a.m. with a tuna. So and the trout just go, fuck you.
Exactly. Or, okay, how about a little bit of clarification on the challenge? So I'm throwing back to who commented with that one? Luke, I put you on the spot there.
You put me on the spot, mate. I need more notice than that.
While you're having a look, what are the stipulations of the challenge? Do we all need to get, do the both of us need to get a trout and a bluefin, or combined as a team, do we need to get a bluefin and a trout in the same day? That's what I want clarification on. Do both of us need to get one?
Well, that ups the stakes a bit. So just axolotl is the Instagram handle.
Oh, I've had them before. Axolotls.
Well, this is a person, so
Oh, nice.
yeah. So thank you for that. Up it again, trout and tuna in the one day, even better. Great call,
All right,
great challenge.
Okay, so axolotl, just give us. And hey, listen, happy to do all the above. If you and I went and tried to do that, and just as a team knock it off. If we found that way too easy, then maybe we could go again and try it where we both get one. But we might not find it that easy the first time as a team.
No, I agree. I think it's something that in theory is like, well, should be able to do it, but we all know it's fishing.
Yeah, that's right.
If you had to, and this is just completely irrelevant, but if you and I were the team and only one of us had to catch one and the other, what would you say?
Mate, the bluefин's all yours.
Okay. No, but that's okay because I then have to. You're under the pump on that river, mate. I'm going to be fucking hounding you, saying
I would be so much more confident on that river than I would. I would get out of the harbour and go, fuck, now what? Like, I hope these fish are around somewhere because I'm just going to put lures in and start going because I don't know where to start.
That's what I mean. Like, I think I would put the lures in and drive around. Like, I think I've got half an idea if it's new water to me, but I think we can we lean on locals for a bit of advice? I don't know. Because what if they said, they're in fucking 20 metres of water and we just burn straight over them and head out to 100?
That's right.
Which we'd probably do.
Likely gonna happen.
All right. Okay. Well, put on the list. I love this challenge and I want more challenges because we're gonna.
We need to start writing these down.
We do. Listen, I'm going to let out a little secret. We are going to be doing dabbling in a little bit of video content creation ads over the next little bit. Excuse me, still getting over my whatever it was that I had. So I'm more than happy to bring some of these challenges to life.
Yeah, I think it would be silly not to, because out of these challenges, I think would come some very entertaining podcasting for you and I.
We might get in a lot of fights.
We might learn a thing or two.
We will.
About each other.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, gee, Adam doesn't perform well under pressure at all.
There's a reason I've never fished a comp.
Yeah. Oh. Why did Adam break so many rods all the time? Yeah. No, all right, I love it. Yeah, keep it coming. Keep it coming.
All right, we need to write a few of these down, Luke, because we might not get to them all in one weekend, but we'll get to them all.
No, eventually. Yeah, exactly. All right, so socials is where you can get on touch. The Deep Drop on Instagram, obviously the deepdrop.au is the website. You can reach out there. We'd love for you to subscribe on whatever podcast player you listen to. Obviously, Spotify is a great spot because you can also interact. Yeah. So there's opportunity to get involved in some polls and questions and bits and pieces. So wherever you listen, hope you enjoy it. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Ads, I hope you don't mind me putting you on the spot a bit tonight. I wanted to. One of the things that we mentioned in last week's show, without much context, and I thought I'd just bring it up because I felt like it needed a little bit more time. We've spoken a lot over the last few weeks about some amazing species, whether it be from the trip I did to WA or some fishing you've been doing and whatever it is. And we mentioned some cool looking fish. I think Australia is home to some magnificent looking fish. Now, I'm taking out everything else aside, so eating, fighting, whatever, just the pure look of a fish.
The looks.
It got me thinking during the week, can we put together in real time on the show, because we don't do much preparation.
Little to none.
Can we put together our top 5?
Oh, I love it.
Together, well, as a team. This is where we might
challenge?
Start. Yeah, this is the first challenge. We might start infighting already.
Okay, team challenge. Okay, so have you got a starting base? Have you got 5 written down?
I literally just did it then.
Nice.
This is an insight.
That's more prepreparation than I've done, because I don't have anything written down.
But I didn't even tell you this is what I was going to do. So this is where we're at. Fucking hell. People are listening going, oh, this isn't a bad podcast. And then they just go, oh, they've done nothing to get ready for this show.
No.
So, yeah, I do. I've got what I think
I've got a couple that instantly come to mind. So read me your 5 and then let's start mucking around with a list from there. What's the baseline? What do you got?
And this is no particular order, right?
Yeah, cool. So just the 5 best looking fish, no particular order, where we're at.
Yeah. And there might be some controversial ones in the ones I've just jotted down. So I'm opening it up. Dolphin fish, straight off the top.
Yep. So we're talking fish like lit up, as in like at their peak.
Yes, at their prime.
Perfect.
You know, we're talking early 90s Jordan.
Nice. I know exactly what you're talking about now. I'm on.
I've got coral trout.
Yep.
I've got a barramundi.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know that was going to throw you a bit, but we're talking about a cool-looking fish. Now, you know, I guess you could say, does size come into this argument? Maybe. Well, so we might dabble a bit in that later.
Yeah, okay.
I reckon a barra is a fucking cool-looking fish.
All right, interesting choice. Next.
Brown trout.
Yes. That's one of the ones that instantly came to mind for me.
And
not rainbow, brown
right
trout.
Up there. Right up there.
Yep, brown trout.
Now, another one I've got that could be controversial, but I'm just going to say it. Mako shark.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Not controversial.
Oh, good. Okay, great.
Yeah, not controversial for me. Because for those that have seen a lit up Mako, absolutely stunning. That blue, you can't replicate it. It's beautiful. It's
incredible. So the ones that I look back now and go, there'll be some maybe. Well, I didn't know how you'd go with Mako, but barra, I understand that people might go, well, they're not colourful and they're not,
no, but they
don't light up in,
but you get a pristine barra, especially out of the salt water.
Yeah.
Yellow fins, really silver.
Just the body, the big scales, the big tail, the big head.
Well, they're an iconic look to them.
And look, I reckon I could be pressed to just swap out coral trout for something. But I do think a really bright red coral trout. Now, it sounds silly, but you can quite often get them, they're a bit darker and browner with the bright spots. But the bright red trout that you can get, I think are stunning. But anyway, how does that sit initially with you? That baseline.
It's a solid start. There's a couple of other species that I can think of
that could slot in,
worth consideration.
Yeah, let's do it. So, that's just the starting. That's the start of the roster. We can trade in and out.
Well, is there anything there before we start tearing it apart that you think is an absolute 100% lock? You can't be talked out of it.
There's 2.
Yep.
Brown trout,
I agree.
And dolphin fish.
Yeah, Dolly's pretty spectacular.
But even when I said that, it wasn't with conviction, was it?
No. I think the brown trout is 100% lock. I couldn't agree more. I think a immaculate brown trout is one of the best looking things in the water, and I don't think I could be swayed.
Thank Christ someone illegally introduced them.
Yeah, solid start. We should... don't do it. Okay.
We've been in trouble already.
Yeah, no, I know.
We'll save it for the live show.
Exactly. All right, so another...
Because I've got a couple that were on the fringe, but I want your input first.
All right, so one thing I'm thinking straight away, I've never personally seen one in the flesh, but I remember watching some old Alma Glashan videos, the Strike Zone stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's... One of the most spectacular things I've ever seen on film is a lit-up striped marlin.
Yeah, that was one of my fringe fish.
When a striped marlin's working a bait ball,
it's pretty special.
And it's almost... It's this weird combination of a black back with this iridescent blue and these white stripes on them. It's absolutely unbelievable. So I'd have them in the mix.
Yeah.
Something a little bit more, I guess, basically beautiful. I think one of them fits almost basically beautiful. Probably in the coral trout conversation would be a lit up snapper, because you do get you get those beautiful iridescent blue fins, the blue spots, but the crimson on them is just perfect.
Yeah, I get it.
It's probably not top 5 for me, but quality shout out.
Oh, it's a good shout out. Yeah.
A lit up calamari. Where do you sit on that?
Wow. I hadn't even thought of that. They're pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about cool looking. So we're not talking about, there's no criteria. It's just got to be something you look at and you go, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Maybe not a top 5. Maybe not a top 5. I don't think you can throw a
Good shout. Good
calamari
shout.
in there with the...
What about, can I throw one in? Now, and again, I think what a lot of these have got in common is their colours and they're lit up and they're spectacular. What about a swordfish? Talk about a cool looking animal.
Yeah. But is that cool looking in the same way like a mulloway is a cool animal? They've got a mystique about them that
Maybe.
it's almost like I'm not supposed to see one of these.
Yeah.
So is it more the coloration or is it just the mystique around it?
I think it almost it's almost a bit of that Barra conversation where there's a prehistoric look about them.
Yeah.
There's a bit of especially a sword when they're a beast of an animal. Like they're
an
not a
unbelievable
small
animal.
You know, like so. I don't know. I think when I see it, in particular when you see that wicked footage from overseas of them free swimming.
Yeah,
that's a cool.
That's a cool
animal.
fish. Yeah.
So again, maybe not top 5, but another one. And look, this is one I mentioned last week, and I think it's where it sort of this idea stemmed from was yellowfin tuna.
Yeah,
I still think they're one of the coolest looking fish.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Top 5, I don't know, but
I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to land on our top 5 tonight because typically and traditionally, you and I sit on the fence.
100%.
So,
and then even if we come up with the top 5, someone will write in or comment or post something on our Instagram that will go, how did we not think of that?
And we'll go, fuck, of course. Yeah. Which is perfect, though. That's what we need. And that's what we're going to do. So please make sure you get over to the Deep Drop Instagram page because we desperately need your input on this one.
But I think brown trout is one that has to be in there. And it's funny you mentioned it because it's only a couple of hours before even recording this podcast, I was watching one of the latest videos on YouTube, one of Steve Starling's clips, and he was fly fishing of all things in Tassie, and he catches a brown trout in that. If you're not sure or you're on the fence with a brown trout, go and watch that video because he catches a brown trout in one of the lagoons in Tassie.
Oh, right, okay.
It is ridiculous how good that fish looks.
Yeah, and the good thing about them is you could catch one that's 5 inches long that still looks stunning.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a lock.
Yeah.
And you know what?
I'm not sure if I've locked in anything else. What else?
No,
what
I
do you
think
reckon?
you have. I think striped marlin's got to be up there.
Yeah, I can still picture the footage after all these years. I can still picture it, and there's nothing like it.
The footage I think of too is Matt Watson on the Wanganella Banks all those years ago, where they had pack attacks from stripes, and they just lit up. The ocean just lit up. So I mean, I still think mahi mahi, dolphin fish, and like we're talking Australia here, so someone might chime in and sort of go, "What about a rooster fish?" You're probably very accurate, but at the moment,
I haven't. You know what I mean? Like
I haven't seen him and we haven't introduced him yet. So
yeah, that could be the next brown trout. What? So
all right, do you know what's another cool? And talking blue water, and I've never caught one, never seen one. A friend of mine that we fished with a couple of weeks back just caught one the other day. Wahoo.
Yeah, because you don't. Every photo you see of them, they're already cooked. As in, like, they're dull. They
lose their stripes. When they're straight out of the water, they've got these big bars across their, running down their thing. They're a man, and not to mention
cool
a head that says, "I'm gonna fuck you up if you get anywhere near me."
Like quickly as well.
It'll be over real quick.
Real quick. Yeah.
So yeah. All right.
Sailfish, a lit up sail.
Yeah, but even not even lit up. Like just the fact that it's
a unique looking
huge
fish
sail on the thing. Like it is 100%. It's a cool looking fish. This list is getting unbelievably long, by the way. So
yeah, we might have to push out to 10.
I reckon
So brown trout, striped marlin, lock them in.
And I'm gonna hold my ground here and say dolphin fish is a lock.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm happy with that. I don't think that's crazy controversial. So then, how about let's lock in those 3 of the 5
and leave it open. The other 2 spots,
and then the last 2 spots, let's fill them with what the people think, and we'll revisit this next week and see what they are.
Yeah, because
unless there's an overwhelming one that we've got to boot one of them out of the top 3.
Hey, we can do that.
Yeah,
we can do that because there's also another one again from that WA trip recently that is different again, which was. But I stood there looking at it, going, "That is a cool fish," and that's those WA jewfish.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Different, so they're not no colours. They're brown and they're pretty. Boring as from a colour perspective, but they're a unique looking fish, man.
Distinguished. Yeah, you know what it is straight away. But see, even think of some of the most basic species that we talk about all the time. A yellowtail kingfish.
Yep.
Unbelievable looking fish.
Estuary perch, bass, like they're cool looking fish.
Bass. Oh, a big wild bass with a big red eye and those defined scales. Yeah, shit. I like it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're on about 15 at the moment.
Well, okay. Well, now that you've said Aussie bass, it's like, what about jungle perch?
That's good.
Talk about like distinguishing features and colours.
Fuck,
not so much colourful, but everything's just everything's perfectly placed.
Is there a better named fish in the world? Jungle perch.
Yeah,
when you look at it, you think this fish is from the jungle.
100%.
Wow.
So that's a little sneaky.
But now I'm thinking more of those northern, like dogtooth tuna. Fucking mean looking fish.
Yeah, probably more
not
mean
cool,
than
just
I think.
mean. Yeah. Let's have the mean looking fish conversation later.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, giant trevallies are cool looking fish.
Yeah, I don't think top 5 worthy, but they are a great looking. They're a great looking fish.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So
it's a good start.
So we've landed on brown trout, striped marlin, and a dolphin fish
as a lock
that we're locking. But if someone's got a good reason to unlock one of those and remove them, I'm open to it. But we need to fill the other 2 spots first.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so
yeah, that's right. Let's get the top 5 and then we can maybe give it a short revisit on a future podcast.
All right. We're going to need everyone involved. So everyone who's getting over to Instagram to have a look and add their 2 cents in the comments. Don't stop there. We want you to share it because we want as much feedback as we can possibly get. So share it in your stories.
Yeah. Let's
get people jumping over.
The definitive top 5.
Yeah.
Best looking.
Yeah.
In their prime, like lit up.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Prime.
The size that's the best looking, the colours that's the most lit up, whatever it takes, it's absolute prime. So, again, brown trout, I mean, Jesus, they're always in their prime. They look,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
Dolphin fish, when they're lit up and angry, just spectacular. Striped marlin, like you've just explained.
Marlin when they're working a bait ball.
Mate, it's incredible. And then we've opened the doors. All right, I'll just reel off the other list we've got, and I'm sure there's things we've missed. Mako shark, coral trout, barramundi, swordfish, yellowfin tuna, yellowtail kingfish, jungle perch, snapper, calamari. I don't feel like that sounds right.
Sounds a bit shit.
Can we scrap that? We'll edit that later.
Scratch it out.
Sailfish, wahoo, wild bass.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, that's a solid list of fish right there, isn't it?
It is, as far as just going on looks.
Thresher shark?
Oof.
Not top 5, but fucking cool looking fish. Different looking, unique looking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's an
elephant fish?
I wouldn't say that's
we're doing the best looking, not the fucking ugly list. Yeah, righto. Sorry.
Can I just make a note, in all honesty, we're going to do a top 5 unique fish.
Ooh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like unique looking fish.
Yeah.
Because that would be
That's an interesting
There'll be
list.
some good ones in there.
I might have to do some thinking on that one.
Well, I think we've already reeled off a few of them.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. All right. So get involved. Let us know. It's as simple as that. But we need you to share it wide and far because I think the
We need
more
a
the
proper
merrier
list.
with this.
Yeah, proper.
Because what I want to do after this on the back of this, so it might be this time next week, is post the top 5.
Yeah,
in fact,
nice.
we'll go through it. We'll go through it in the show.
Yeah, I like
And
it.
I want it to be a lock to the point where we might even get a T-shirt done with just a list.
Just the list.
So you can't. Once it's on a T-shirt, you can't change it.
Correct.
You can with a Sharpie.
That's awesome. Just
be walking around
just a
with
list of species on the back.
with no context at all.
Just a list of species.
And maybe under it, it just says "Ask me."
It's the best, worst shirt of all time.
Mate, if I see someone walking around in a T-shirt that all it says is brown trout, dolphin, fish, striped marlin.
No, but it's got to have in text at the top in no specific order.
Or it just says, go with me here.
Yeah, that's right. No, or just list the 5 at the bottom. Go.
Yeah, go. All right. This is serious, people. This is serious. We need this done.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so we'll come back and revisit that. I like it. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And now look throughout that list. There was talk of trout. We mentioned it quite a few times. I wouldn't say I've been having some interesting conversations about trout, but I've heard some interesting remarks about trout over the last couple of weeks as we sort of, I guess we're kind of in the home stretch to the end of the trout season.
Yep.
And it made me think of a few things. I've heard some things passed around some tackle stores across the state. In your humble opinion, Luke, and let's pick it apart.
Yeah.
Are trout smart or dumb? Because it's actually really interesting on how divided these answers are. So I mean, and don't get me wrong, I haven't been doing a street talk arrangement out of this and walking around just asking random fishers if trout are dumb or smart.
But I encourage you to do that.
That's right. But you hear of the talk of trout in tackle shops, and you'll get some of the trout purists. In particular, I feel as though this comes from fly fishermen, and I'm actually not taking the piss out of them for a change. But
Hang on. What?
Yeah, I know. I'm not feeling well.
No, continue. This is interesting. I think this is hilarious. Like, it's a great topic.
So that they'll be able to sit back and say, trout are smart as shit. Like, if you don't match that fly hatch perfectly, you're not getting anything. You just won't even get a look. You'll see them. They just don't want a bar of it. But then you'll get some other, and I'm not, hey, trout enthusiasts. I'm not even saying they're weekend trout fishermen. I know some very, very accomplished trout fishermen that say the same thing, and they reckon they're dumb as dog shit. Where if they're around, if you get them when you're just going to catch them. You know what I mean? Like
you can entice them into a reaction bite pretty quick, I would have thought.
Yeah. So it got me thinking. Like, do you think they're smart, or are you leaning more smart or dumb for the trout?
I haven't really put much thought into it because sometimes while fishing for them and having no success whatsoever, I will swear that they're very smart. But ultimately, are they? I don't know. I do think about this in some capacity sometimes with a couple other species. We'll touch on that later. But all right, here's another twist on it. And this is exactly us again sitting on a fence. But are they smart, dumb, or are they lucky that they have the colours that they have where they can completely blend into their surroundings to the point where they are quite literally invisible? Like, how many times have you been walking a river, wading a river, and you've almost stood on one and it's spooked just at the last second with no idea it's even there? That's not necessarily them being intelligent. It's them just having a sweet pattern on their back that makes them invisible to see. Yeah. So.
Well, it's funny, though, because I've seen trout do both some incredibly smart things.
Yeah.
And then some just incredibly dumb shit where you just look going, what? Like, for those that haven't done a lot of trout fishing, go and have a crack. I think you would be amazed at how you can watch a trout in particular a rainbow, shoot out of nowhere and do everything but eat your lure. It'll roll, fuck around, open its mouth. It'll hit the side of it.
Oh my God.
And it might end up then getting jagged in the tail because it missed and swipe turned. And then I've seen some trout do some ridiculous things where they have tried to eat a lure and literally eaten everything but the lure.
Yeah. Which makes you when you see that footage of them being so precise and eating a mayfly.
Sipping a mayfly.
Yeah, and you go, oh, they're just so...
Majestic.
Glorious.
Majestic.
And, oh, aren't they? And then that happens and
you go, what the...
You hook one in the arsehole.
Yeah, because it rolled at the wrong moment and missed its mouth. Like, you know...
Rainbows are... I mean, I don't want to take it a step further, but are rainbows dumber than browns?
Oh, I reckon.
Yeah, well, I do too. That's instantly, I think so too. And I'm not... We might get some trout enthusiasts on here, and hopefully we do. Tell us what you think. Because, and look, I hedge my bets that there's probably no fly fishing people listening to the show after early sort of episodes. But if there are, massive respect, firstly, just for listening.
Yeah.
Like, what are your thoughts as a fly angler? Is it, because you're right, it's kind of like the fly fishing fraternity is set out to outsmart the fish.
Well, it's a very specific way of fishing. It's an art form. I know I hang shit on fly fishing, and for 99% of the time I mean it. But I do have respect for it because the art form itself, it's pretty incredible. And there's a reason a little bit of backstory. The reason I take the piss out of fly fishing, I don't think fly fishing is something you can just dabble in.
No, I agree.
You can dabble in lure fishing.
I don't think anyone would argue with that.
It's an art form. You need to knuckle down and sort your shit out, or you're going to be like me and you're going to think it's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, so, with a couple of flies in your ears.
Correct. Yeah. So there's that, but they are a really strange species because you can see some of them. Like, how many times you've been flicking a spinner, especially? I find this happens a lot with spinners.
Yeah,
it's almost like they're more impressed with what the lure's doing than actually wanting to eat it because they'll charge out of nowhere and not really eat it, but they'll just swim at it for a little while. Well, and you kind of get excited and pause and they just turn away and go, nah, not interested. Yeah. It's more like the thrill of the chase for a little bit.
Well, I think it's it's that I sort of go back to that reaction type bite because what's a spinner representing in the water or imitating?
Yeah,
like
interesting.
You kind of think, well, maybe the flutter of it is like an insect, but no insects go that fast across the water when you're just burning it subsurface.
Imagine you were walking a trout river or a trout stream and you saw an insect behave like that.
Yeah.
Say you saw a beetle hit the water, one wing spread out, the other one stayed tucked on its body, and it just helicoptered through the water. You would piss yourself.
It'd be magnificent. So I don't know. We're not running any fish IQ tests. I don't know if they are super smart as we're sort of maybe set out. I think with the fly stuff, and this is just while we're on the subject, do you ever think that with matching the hatch, maybe it's because, and again, hats off to the fly tying fraternity especially. Some of the flies that you see getting around are unreal.
Oh, they're all
spectacular. But are they too realistic? To the point where it's like the trout will go, I've already had half a dozen of those today.
I don't know.
If you put a power bait T-tail minnow through the water, they'll go, oh, that's different. Yeah. I'll eat that.
It's weird because we've had this conversation around lures before, and I think from memory, I think we did come up with maybe sometimes the lures are just a little bit too realistic. I don't feel that way about fly for some reason. I think what they're doing, and I think maybe because of the size. If it's so small, it's kind of got to be perfect.
Yeah, fair.
Whereas,
and that's where you can't do that with a lure, so to speak. That a spinning outfit can cast something that small and light, but I'm really curious to hear from the punters on this one, Ads. Are trout smart or dumb? Are we putting it as simply as that, as crude and?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
What are you leaning towards?
feel like I want to say they're smart, but I don't know. And I'm not. The more we've spoken about this tonight, I'm thinking, are they?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards dumb.
Yeah, you are.
But it's like respectful.
Respectfully dumb.
Yeah.
You know what? I think this is. I'm going to actually just step back and go, nah, I reckon they've got a bit of intelligence to them. But then that's where, without getting too sort of, deep in the psychological aspect of animals, is like what's intelligence and what's instinct. So do you know what I mean? So like a trout, for example, like I said before, they've got these brilliant camouflage that they don't necessarily need. That they don't need to be smart. That's just how they're born, right? That's just how they're built. But then their instincts tell them to sit under a bit of an overhanging ledge on a river or something. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's not like because they'll soon swim out and eat something that's like a spinner or something that's a bit. I don't know.
I guess more to the point. Is there a fish that you've targeted that you could definitively say smart? So
it's hard because if you're, and it's a bit rough because obviously ultimately, if you've caught any fish, you could argue that it's fallen for a trap, right?
Yeah.
It's fallen for a lie. You've told a lie to a fish and it's taken the bait, figuratively and literally. But that doesn't make them dumb. I think we present a bait or a lure or whatever it is really, really well. So you could argue that they're acting instinctively. And, if you've got a beautiful looking stick bait cranking across the surface and a kingfish eats it, you go, well, fair enough.
Yeah.
But I think there's some fish that are way more on the side of just having a little bit of nous about them, whether it's like something like a Aussie bass that's just like it knows what's going on a little bit.
Yeah, but even mulloway, why are they so hard to catch? Are they smart, or are they just elusive? Are they just one of those species that just have weird feeding patterns, or maybe the initial instinctual prey drive isn't as high as, say, a trout or a calamari or something that just has to. It just has to eat. It doesn't matter what's happening.
Doesn't matter what's going on. I suppose they're smart in the sense of, the way some of these fish, and we talk about, we've spoken a bit about blue water, like striped marlin, for example. It'll find a patch of bait miles away.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So it's...
Yeah.
There's that. There is one species that I reckon are always, or are often referred to as an intelligent species of sea marine life, and I struggle to buy into it, and that's calamari.
Yeah. I don't think a calamari has time to be smart, as in it's got a 12 like say the southern calamari that we catch down here in Vic.
Yeah,
they got a lifespan of essentially 12 months. So in that 12 months, they need to go from egg to fully grown adult, eat and reproduce as many times as they can within 12 months. I don't think they have time to be smart. And I think that's why they can be, and we view them as something that's quite easy to catch. They haven't got time to fuck about. They got to get big. And also, let's not forget, literally everything in the ocean wants to eat them. So you know what I mean?
Out of the ocean.
So they're cooked either way.
Yeah.
Like they have to get to adult size as quick as possible.
There is a perception of them being intelligent, though, isn't there? Because of the way what things they do with their body and their But you can't. I mean, the amount of times you've just dropped a jig over the side because there's one a foot down under and it just eats it.
Yeah.
After seeing
and then
two of its mates
and then drops
being
the
ripped
jig,
out of the.
And then drops the jig and then comes back and eats it straight away again.
Drops the jig and goes, fucking hell, that just poked a hole in my face, but I'm going to eat it again.
Yeah.
And there goes me mate Darren and Steve. Like they've just been pulled out of the water. They've squirted ink everywhere and that's like an SOS. but I'm still going to eat this thing and ignore all those signs.
I was going to say, not just that. I reckon that squid would be sitting back going, "Ha ha, Steve, what a fuckhead! Oh, squid jig!"
It's probably the same jig, probably with Steve's blood on it.
It smells like Steve. Oh, fuck,
It smells
squid
like
jig.
Steve the whole time. Fuck, this smells a bit like Steve. Is that? There's a bit of Steve's saliva on there still, but still,
Shit,
it looks
shit,
good.
I'm hungry.
Is that one of his tentacles?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'll take the risk.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I better go in for a closer look.
Oh, mate. You know what I mean? So I think, I mean, I can't have it that they're that smart. but like you say, maybe they are, but the overpowering, I suppose, desire to just eat and reproduce.
Well, I guess
takes...
you could probably make the argument that some of those big spawning squid, anything between that 1.5 to 2.5 kilo mark, you could probably argue they're the smartest thing because every single thing swimming around wants to eat them.
Mm. But they've gotten to that.
But they've gotten to that size, so they're doing something right. They've found a really good paddock to efficiently hunt without getting eaten and maxed out at their 12 months. Like, realistically, in the wild, how many squid do you think die of old age?
It's a good question. I reckon heaps.
Yeah?
Yeah, I reckon. When you think about the sheer mass of them that are out there, there's got to be a fair amount that would just die.
It's a fair point.
Or do they,
As they get older, are they like people where the closer they get to the end of their life, the more they slow down? So if they
and then just get plucked,
just because they can't keep up, the instincts aren't as good as what they were. They can't.
So you're probably right. So there's probably not many that just sink to the bottom and that's it.
Yeah,
maybe, I don't know. But the other thing about them is they will see their friend in a situation which is often hooked by a squid jig and getting dragged in, and then go and attack their friend.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck's that about? Like, so yeah. Anyway, I think I've made my point of how I feel about calamari. I love them. Yeah. I love fishing for them. They're great fun and they're a great table fish, but
probably not the sharpest tool in the shed.
I don't think so.
No.
What about you? Is there any species that comes to mind that you go, smart fish? I mean, you mentioned mulloway and whatever, but it's hard to know.
It's hard. Yeah. It's nothing. Yeah, nothing has really struck me as say intelligent. It's hard because do you class intelligence in fish as say a fish that's spooky? As in because I guess realistically most fish are easily spooked.
But even to your point before about the squid, like if you come across a really big brim or something that's a slow growing thing that's clearly 30 years old or something like that, you go, geez, that's not bad. Yeah. You've got your shit sorted.
But do you know on the opposite end of the spectrum, do you know a fish that strikes me as just dumb as a box of hammers?
What?
Murray cod. Because you hear,
I just think they're just gluttonous. Like they're just fat, fucking greedy, hungry fish that are just
dumb. They eat everything from golf balls to cheese to whatever. Small children, I don't know, but
probably.
But you hear some of the stories of the old timers that used to codfish back in the day, where they pull up to a snag that they know a cod's sitting on, and they just sit there and belt the shit out of the snag with one of the oars to try and wake the fish up a little bit. Now, those stories don't get to our generation if some of those people didn't cast at a snag for ages, catch nothing, then go and smack the crap out of the snag, come out, recast, and catch a cod.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, it's a fair call. What? Yeah. The slobs.
Yeah.
Not interested in really getting around and,
Nah, slower the better. Just
sit in me hole.
Just cruise.
Catch me. I'll probably get caught, and when I get released, I'll go back to that same hole.
Same hole.
Probably get caught a week
Same
later.
snag. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Clearly, fitness isn't a big thing on the agenda.
Not high on the priority list.
No, doesn't mind a bit. Not too fussed on what he's eating. Like if it's a bit of, or she, if it's a bit of a, it's a redfin I've got to lay off the reddies. No, I can go another one. I'll go another one. Yeah.
One more.
One more. And but you're right, it's any like you wouldn't because you just wouldn't want to be a smaller fish in the vicinity of one of those big fucking.
No.
And what's the speed of a big cod like? Do you reckon they've got much after their first 5 tail beats? Do you reckon they just turn to shit after that?
I think you'd be lucky if they got to 5 tail beats. I reckon they'd probably max out at 3 and just go, you win. But just cruise back to the hole and wait for the next something.
Nah. I'll get the next one.
Just kidding.
Just puffing like they're in there.
Just kidding. That's exactly what happens, I reckon.
It's a ciggy.
I'll get it after the next count.
I'll get the next one. Oh, well, what was I up to?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
Fucking shit. For a shit fish, mate, they have done well for themselves as far as popularity goes.
Oh, in the cod world, whoever's in charge of like PR has dominated.
Mate.
Needs a pay rise. Bad.
Whoever's looking after their marketing team down there in Murray Cod World,
yeah, A+. Just tip of the cap.
hats off to you. Like seriously, overachieved. You have.
Yep, definitely overachieved.
Speaking of that, it's time to wrap up, ads. It's been fun. We've got a lot to get through out of this show, so we need you, right? So get on board. Instagram is the place to go, the Deep Drop. Find us there. The top 5 coolest looking fish.
Yeah.
We've locked in tentatively dolphin fish, brown trout, striped marlin.
Yeah, as 3 locks.
Yep. We need you to fill the last 2 spots.
Yep.
If you can convince us that one of the 3 locks needs to be removed, we're open to it.
Yeah, 100. We're open.
Give us a good, give us a good reasoning. Share it around with as many fishers as you know and as many of the groups as you know that are around the different social channels, because I just think we could get a really cool 5.
Yeah, and we can
really do.
And we can.
And I don't reckon we've thought. I don't reckon we've even mentioned it tonight.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean?
There's at least one we haven't mentioned that we'll look at it and go, of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
So there's that, and then the other question we're asking, it's a deep one: a trout smart or dumb?
Yes.
We need to know this. I feel like we need to know this for our own sanity.
Yeah.
Because you could, if you have a bad day trout fishing, you could blame either.
Yeah, exactly.
You could go, they're just fucking outsmarted me today.
Yeah, that's right.
Nothing I could do about it. Or you could walk away going, fucking dumb fish.
Dumb things didn't even...
Wouldn't know what they're looking at.
We need to find this out.
Yeah. All right. Let us know. Jump on socials, jump on Spotify, jump across to the deepdrop.au and
let us know.
Get amongst it.
Let us
Get amongst it. All right. Good stuff. Thank you, Adam. See you soon.
Peace.